All right, what's going on, everybody? We're here talking about UFC again, and I'm sure, as you guys know, Ilia Topuria just absolutely dominated Charles Oliveira in the first round. An amazing performance overall. He showed that he could strike and even grapple with Charles Oliveira, which was very important for him to prove. And then after the fight, Ilia Topuria called out Paddy Pimblett, where they had a face-off in the octagon. But apparently Dana didn't like that. So what I'm going to be doing is reacting to Dana's thoughts about this whole situation and giving my reasons why this fight should happen next. But real quick, before I get into the video, 97% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you like UFC, influencer boxing, or pro boxing content, I post 3 to 4 times a week on this channel at least. So make sure you guys subscribe. I appreciate you. All right, before I talk about the situation, let's see what Dana had to say.
He called in Paddy Pimblett and brought him into the cage, and they had a face-off. Obviously, they've got a long history together. I know there's a lot of options on the table for Ilia, but when he shows that type of interest in a fight, does that make you want to make it?
Well, I don't know who the hell let him in there. That should have never happened. Let's start there. I was already back in my room, or that would have never happened. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I don't really think about that stuff tonight, other than, you know, obviously the Van fight. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out.
Now, I'm very confused on why he's so negative on this. I'll get to why I think they should do this in a second, but this is the same guy that gave Stipe to John Jones a few months ago. But Paddy Pimblett is a ridiculous title fight. Okay, Dana. Okay, so I really don't understand why he doesn't like the storyline of this fight, because they've been beefing since like 2022 when Paddy threw hand sanitizer, or the other way around. I remember that whole situation, and they've been trading words back and forth constantly for years, and it's a huge fight. And Dana claims to just love big fights. He loves when people want to fight. He just loves big fights. Well, why does he hate Paddy Pimblett going to the octagon and making a moment like that? It was a viral moment on social media. It would be a huge fight. And I don't want to be that guy. I'm sure there's Arman Sarukian fans, but who really, like, is dying to see Arman Sarukian versus Ilia? You know what I'm saying? It will be a tough fight for Ilia, I think, because Arman's just so talented on the ground. But I don't know, man. The Paddy fight is way more interesting. And they just, like I said, they've been having some back and forth even after the fight. So I'm going to show you guys some of them. This is what Paddy had to say about Ilia in this interview.
No, he's trying to be Conor McGregor, isn't he? You know what I mean? He's got the same tattoos. He's got the... He even said the other day, I'm going to put my balls on your forehead to me, which is sort of what McGregor said to Chad.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a carbon copy of McGregor. And I think if some people can't see through that, even though you see some people now saying he's better than McGregor, but he's not. In the prime, at the same time, McGregor would have knocked him out with a straight left.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. A lot of people have debated that. They are very similar. I do like, more people need to act like Conor. That's the thing, though. That's why I don't hate it. Like, Ilia builds hype for his fights, and he puts stuff on the line talking crap. I feel like some fighters don't want to talk crap in case they lose. They don't really want that risk-reward situation when trash talk goes right or wrong. I like that about Ilia, though. I disagree with Paddy here. And Ilia versus McGregor, he would probably just grapple McGregor realistically, but on the feet, that would be like an all-time classic, definitely. Now let's see what Ilia had to say about Paddy after his fight against Charles.
Makachev en el welter es viable.
Totalmente viable. Porque de mi parte sí. A ver, si fuera por mí, tú piensas el sábado que viene tendríamos un UFC en España. Contra Makachev. En el primer asalto y en el segundo contra Paddy.
Now, obviously, that's a bit much. Islam will obviously be a very hard fight for him. I think Paddy, even in some aspects of the fight, would be tough for Ilia Topuria. But at the same time, we just saw Ilia out-grapple Charles, so we really don't know at this point. Ilia just might be a whole different animal. Now, let me talk about why I think they should make this fight soon. If Islam doesn't end up fighting Ilia soon, because he's going to probably face JDM, but we don't really know because Islam's saying he's struggling to make 170. So if he does go down to 155 again, he will obviously fight for the belt. But let's say that's not the case. I think they should do Paddy, because not only there's so much hype that I showed you guys for so many years, so much trash talk, and they're both like some of the biggest names in the whole UFC, but to be real about Paddy's resume and his skill set, so he beat Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green, and Michael Chandler. You can argue those are a bit overrated wins. He did dominate in those fights like he should have, don't get me wrong, which shows that he is like a top fighter in the division. But you could say those wins are somewhat padded. He should have won those fights. He was the heavy favorite in all of them, if you really thought about it. And if you have Paddy against somebody like Charles Arman, does he beat them? That's when things get very interesting. So if you want Paddy at his highest hype, I'm going to debate that it should be right now. Because I think there's a chance that he could lose to Charles or Arman if it's a title eliminator or something like that. I think if they're going to do Ilia versus Paddy, it should be soon. They're both at the peak of their hype. And I think that Paddy beats Gaethje, don't get me wrong. That's why I think they might. That's like the main rumor. If they do Paddy versus Gaethje, I think they'll be a great matchup for Paddy. But I don't know, something about Arman and Charles, it would counteract his grappling, and he just gets cracked. He does. He says Scousers don't get knocked out, but you don't want to test that consistently like Paddy does. And even Gaethje could hurt him probably, but Paddy does have a chin, but you know how it is with people with strong chins. Eventually, when it breaks, it's forever broken, and then they get knocked out super easily. Look at like Chuck Liddell at the end of his career and stuff like that. We don't want that to be Pimblett. So, I think if you're going to do this fight, I think it should be next for Ilia and Paddy. Don't get me wrong. Let me know if you guys agree. But if Paddy loses to Arman or Oliveira, it's not over for him, but it's not going to be an instant title shot. But knowing Dana, I don't know, because maybe coming off a loss, he will get a title shot because Izzy has done that a couple times. He did this Stipe. So sometimes they throw their brain out the window and do it, but I don't really see it. So I think if they want the hype of this matchup, just capitalize on it now. Why not? Ilia's probably going to win anyways. I actually love Paddy too, but I don't know. He's too much for Paddy. Paddy can't take shots on the chin from Ilia. He just can't do it. I don't think anybody can. It's just ridiculous to have that game plan. And don't get me wrong, Paddy's good with keeping his distance. Since he has a lack of blocking his head, he does very well keeping distance with side kicks and all that type of stuff and really fighting at range. But Ilia will find him out. I really do think so. And I think that Arman might even figure Paddy out. So I think that they should just do this. Let me know if you guys agree. But Paddy might lose to Charles or Arman. So if they want Paddy to face Ilia, it probably should be next. Let me know if you guys disagree in the comments down below. To wrap things up, I disagree with Dana. I think this is a huge fight. It's probably one of the biggest fights they can make in the UFC right now, where they're really struggling to make super fights. Even though Paddy's ranked number 10 right now, it is still a super fight in my opinion. Let me know if you guys think that Arman should just get the title shot. I understand he was the backup opponent for that. He proved that he would be on time and he would fight for the title. So his whole pullout thing has redeemed, I think. So maybe Dana just wants to have Arman stop chirping in his ear. And I wouldn't hate that fight, but I just think Ilia versus Paddy's more interesting. Let me know if you guys agree. We don't really care about Arman. Sorry to Arman fans. But yeah, man, that's all I had to say about the situation. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that. I'm still a small channel trying to grow. Literally every single one matters. You're making a real impact on the channel. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for listening to me out like usual. God bless every single one of you. And peace out. My foot fell asleep. God, fuck. Transition to the fucking podcast clip. Fuck. But I'll tell you what. You saw how much damage Dustin put on Islam in their fight, right? Yeah. I'm telling you right now, I'm starting to think Ilia beats Islam. I'm not going to lie. If he's able to stuff Islam's takedowns, all of a sudden, fuck.
If Ilia knocks out Islam,
he's a GOAT. Gone. You should retire right there. That's it. It's not even debatable at that point. His resume is insane.
I don't have someone better. You know what I mean?
Because what? So, Volk, Max, Charles, and then Islam retire.
And that's back to back to back. That was Volk, and then fucking Holloway.
If he somehow does that 170, it would make it even crazier. It would be triple champion and just dip.